Hey, good morning. So sometimes whenever you're out in these lovely trails, there are places that you can stop that have pieces of equipment to help you exercise. It's not always necessary to have something like this, but in this case, since it's available, we're going to be doing a little bit of exercise today. Whenever you're working out, most of the time, you're going to end up working specific muscle groups on machines like this. In most cases, for most people, not everybody, but most people, we have too much flexion that we deal with every day. So doing something like the chest press, which is fantastic for the chest, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't do the chest press exercise, but what I'm really trying to emphasize is if you do an exercise that works the anterior portion of your body, follow it up and finish off with something that works the extension of your body, the posterior chain. So we're going to do chest presses first, and then I'll hop on to the row machine just to show you what I'm talking about. Again, positioning makes a big difference. Abs are engaged, the shoulders are rolled back and down, and we're making sure to not let the elbows flare out to the side for this. It's using my own body weight in order to accomplish this movement. Hand position makes a difference. If you have sensitive wrists, it may be an issue to be in this position. And a lot of these machines are generic, so they're not going to be perfectly sized, and they don't have a lot of adjustable bits to them so that you can make those modifications. But find positions that feel good for you. Keep your neck in neutral. Make sure you're not jetting your chin out. Keep your neck neutral. You can also modify tempo, which makes a big difference in your exercise program itself. Tempo for a contraction would be a 1 second count. If you hold it in an isometric position, hold it for 2 seconds, and then when you're going into your eccentric movement, slow it down to about 3 seconds. If you do that pattern, you're going to get a better workout. Let's go to the other one. We're going to work the back side of the body now. And again, hand position is going to make a difference for you. If your hands are here, it may be more comfortable. But if you have wrist issues, a neutral grip is probably going to feel the best. And again, tempo can be modified. If we're going real fast like this, oh man, I'm working out, I got 100 reps in, no big deal. Well, you get 100 reps in, but you don't get as good of a quality in terms of the exercise. So again, tempo can be modified. The neck stays neutral, the abs are engaged, the shoulders are rolled back and down, and we're making sure that the elbows don't flare to the sides. But that slow release on the movement for the eccentric component, where I'm bringing the weight back down at a slower pace, is actually going to be a lot better for you. This is supposed to be like a leg press, which is great in theory. It's using your own body weight in order to accomplish this. This one's got a little bit better looking alignment to it. And I want you to be able to see this side angle right here. Your knees are going to be a little bit compromised just depending on where that foot plate is located. And I want to make sure to line up my foot plate positioned where my heel is a little bit higher than my knee, just so that I am not compromising the integrity of the knee as I go into flexion here. And as I push, if you notice, I'm really concentrating to push through my heel and not on through my toes. Going into this position is going to compromise that knee. So if we're down here and we're pushing through the heel, you're going to get a better and safer exercise for your knees. Sometimes when you're out and about, you don't have the option of using preferred equipment. Not every walking trail has that lovely setup that we were just at. Sometimes all you got is a pole or a fence or the ground. So we do what we can with what we've got. For a chest press exercise, this again would be a modification, but you could grasp either side to get a neutral grip for your hands, go around that pole, and depending on what your abilities are, you could get a little bit further down, a little bit further in. Again, the quality of that eccentric, concentric, and isometric contractions are what we're looking to make sure are good quality in terms of tempo. Instead of doing something where we're contracting the muscles with the intention of strength training, you could use something like this regular old pole to give you a good stretching component. So we definitely want to make sure to stretch the muscles. For right now, if you just have a pole and you're trying to get a little bit of a stretch in, we just worked out the chest. So now I'm going to stretch the chest because I'm finished with that exercise. Once I'm done, I'm going to stretch it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my upper back muscles to open up my chest, hold it for 2 seconds, and then come back. And each time try and go a little bit further. We worked on lats, my latissimus dorsi, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stretch that and the posterior chain muscles with this pole by, again, squeezing and contracting my chest muscles now and hanging on as I take a position where I can stretch this side of my body, that posterior chain. I've staggered my stance a slight bit, I've pivoted my hips, and I'm just hanging on a little bit here. While I push with this one, I'm going to hold and hang with this one. So as I push here and I hang on here, I'm going to dip down, extend my arms, squeeze my chest muscles, and rotate. As I rotate this direction and look over my right shoulder, I'm getting a really good stretch on my posterior chain, and I'm pushing a little bit onto the pole to create this little bit of a counterbalance component. But again, just doing about 2 seconds and then coming out of it. Each time, it's kind of like wringing out a sponge. Whenever you need to, you can do an active isolated stretch like that, and it's like wringing out all of the junk, the waste product that builds up in your muscles after you've finished a strength training exercise. Doing a little bit of stretching afterwards is really going to help with the soreness component.